Alpha was just about to ask that and trying to piece everything together. To what extent could this be an attempt to protect an individual or certain individuals that have been associated with him and his alleged malfeasance?
Yeah, I mean, that's an answer that, hopefully she
Yeah.
could have gotten from him. His obvious links to Vusmuzikat Matlala. I mean,
Yeah.
has confirmed that he did get some money from Suleiman Karim, but it was going to be interesting to hear from Karim himself
Mm.
what he thinks about all of this. But I think the question of whether he's protecting his people or not, that would have really been
Yeah.
an interesting one for him to answer.
There's an English saying that goes to the effect, the lady doth protest much. And it does seem as if Suleiman doth protest much. And where there's smoke, there could be fire. And the powers of the commission, I would assume, in this instance, Alpha, are going to be tested. And also, not just the carrot that they've been dangling, but the stick. How harsh is that stick that they have in their hands that they've been hesitant to use? And will Suleiman be an example of that? But moving forward, where to from here? What other stuff can we look forward to in the next couple of days, if not weeks, Alpha?
Well, in next week, the Matlala Commission of Inquiry is going to focus quite extensively on IDAC, as it has been over the past few weeks. I think on Wednesday, we're expecting the testimony of National Colored Congress leader and MP Fadil Adams at the Matlala Commission of Inquiry. Remember, he was supposed to testify a few days ago, but that was postponed because he sent his written statement to the commission at 9 p.m. the day before he was meant to testify, meaning that he had not given the commission and its evidence leaders enough time to prepare for his appearance at the Matlala Commission of Inquiry. So on Wednesday, possibly for about 2 days, we should expect to see Fadil Adams testifying about his involvement in IDAC's controversial investigation into crime intelligence. You would remember that IDAC officials have been questioned about the processes that they allegedly skipped when they investigated crime intelligence, which led to the arrest of Dineo Mukwele, crime intelligence head Dumsani Kumalo, Fani Masemola as well, who is the suspended National Police Commissioner. So it's going to be an interesting one next week. We also are expecting the commission to continue investigating the links between KZN police and alleged drug dealers. You might have heard over the past few days, Brati, that we heard a lot about the extrajudicial killings in KwaZulu-Natal, which is something we've been talking about for a while, that KZN police are seemingly shooting and asking questions later. So next week, I think they are going to continue investigating those extrajudicial killings.
And someone who's going to be keeping you updated thoroughly so on all these matters is definitely Alpha Ramushwana, EWN reporter. Much appreciated. It's 28 minutes after 3 o'clock and you are on 702. Do keep those voice notes coming through, your concerns, your questions. You can send them on 072 702 1702. And just a quick reminder that at about 10 to 4, we will be looking at the ANC internal leadership battle where the Sowetan editor penned a very interesting opinion piece. And he suggests that Patrice Motsepe does not need the ANC as much as the ANC needs him. So it's the ANC that needs Patrice to revive itself, to give itself a nice makeover look and to put lipstick on its lips in order to face the electorate. And he argues that the polls are showing that Patrice is, according to the poll, Motsepe gets the nod from both ordinary South Africans and ANC supporters. And this should be something that the ANC is concerned with, but no, they'd rather elbow him out of this leadership battle. All that will come at about 10 to 4. For now, exactly 3:30. It's time for the Eyewitness News headlines with Mikey. Mikey, good afternoon. Hope you're good.
Thanks, Taba. Good afternoon. The state has concluded investigations into suspended MP Fadil Adams. The National Coloured Congress leader appeared before the Pinetown Magistrates Court today, where his case was postponed to the 11th of September for pre-trial purposes. Adams is accused of fraud and defeating the ends of justice when he undertook 2 separate visits to the Westville prison to interview inmates without official parliamentary mandate. Adams remains on bail of 10,000 rand. He claims the state intentionally delayed disclosure of the docket set to be filed by prosecutors in 2 weeks.
Once they provide the further particulars, then it's game on. They should have provided it today. They tried to delay for 2 weeks. We know why. I'm at Madlanga on Wednesday. They don't want us to have further particulars until then, but it's fine. We're ready. It's a game to them. We take this seriously.
In the Eastern Chairperson, Ngobani Nkwele says their dispute with the municipality has been dragging on since last year.
The fight started last year. It didn't happen since last year. Now it's 2026. We still saying the same thing, but then we decided that it's best that we close down the town, like the businesses and the municipality. As we speak, we are on day 4 of lockdown. There is nothing happening business-wise in the municipality.
Nkwele says residents understand the shutdown is hurting the local economy, but they're prepared to continue with their action until their demands are addressed.
We knew from day one that this was going to have very bad implications. But what made it easy for us is that even the businesses themselves were party to what is going on. They actually were in the meeting and they rendered their full support to make sure that this goes on.
The Gauteng Roads and Transport Department says more than 60 minibus taxis have been taken off the province's roads in a recent blitz. Provincial transport officials found serious mechanical defects, including faulty brakes and worn tires. The Remove Skorokoro campaign also found dozens of minibus taxi drivers without valid licenses. The MEC spokesperson Lesiba Mpia says they're treating public safety with the seriousness it deserves.
And we are coming from a situation where I think in the month of May, we took 82 minibus taxis that were unroadworthy off these roads. And these operations are part of our ongoing commitment to road safety and compliance across the province.
Mpia says they're targeting high-risk corridors and areas where there's evidence of non-compliance.
We are very serious about public safety. So basically, this is not a punitive measure. This is about saving lives, and not necessarily about disrupting industry operation. We are not targeting the taxi industry per se. We are definitely targeting unsafe and illegal behavior on our roads.
And a wildfire on Croatia's coast has left at least 10 people in intensive care and dozens more injured. Around 2,000 people have been evacuated from nearby villages as the fire ripped through surrounding hills, damaging homes and destroying cars this morning. During a visit to the area, Prime Minister Andrej Plenković stressed the dangers of the fire and praised the efforts of the firefighters. A look at your weather, a partly cloudy Friday in Gauteng. Today, temperatures are peaking at highs of 16 and 17 degrees.
Germiston, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N17 westbound between Osborne Road and Wits Rifles. It looks like it's roadworks through there. In Benoni, also slow-moving traffic on Rangeview Road. This is between Dube and Tom Jones. In Erasmus Kloof, Pretoria, accident scene on the N1 southbound near Rajul Avenue, causing delays from Garsfontein Road.
The top story in Eyewitness News. The state has concluded investigations into suspended MP Fadil Adams.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Stray bullets killing kids. Sleepless nights because of gunfire. Whole community saying do something about gangs. For many people living in areas infested by gangs, it's become part of everyday life. This is their reality. But now, next Wednesday, Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Policing will begin its inquiry into gang violence in South Africa. The chairperson of the committee says South Africa may need to reconsider the bail system, for example, for certain gang-related crimes. Ian Cameron, as far as gang violence in South Africa is concerned, how worried should we be?
It's a crisis. Some parts of the country, gang violence has become a small-scale war. Obviously, it poses a significant threat to the well-being of children, and you just simply cannot live that way. How do you build a sustainable or a prosperous future being surrounded by such violence?
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
The course is ready. The players are set. Watch as they step up to the tee and go for glory. From booming drives to crucial putts, birdies, eagles, and hole-in-ones, every shot could change the game. The tension is rising with every swing as the world's best battle it out. Explore an exciting selection of golf offerings with Hollywood bets and back your favorites on the fairway. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
That's Sia before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hi Tabo, it's Sibahle here. So when I met my husband about 5 years ago, I had made up my mind that actually I don't want any kids, but he managed to convince me otherwise. And fast forward, we now have a 15-month-old baby. And I must say, this is the greatest decision I've ever made in my entire life. I am enjoying every moment of motherhood, and I thank my husband every day for actually, making me change my mind. And yes, of course, there are those tough moments. And so far, because I'm not at the homework stage yet, it's the sleepless nights, when he goes through teething or when he's not well and he has to get up in the middle of the night. We've also taken him to hospital once or twice. But having said that, it is absolutely priceless. It is so rewarding, and I would encourage every woman to have a baby. It is, I cannot explain it. I'm enjoying every moment of motherhood, and it also helps to have a very supportive partner as well.
Hi Tabo and the guys. With regards to parenting, the hardest part for me, I've got a 22-year-old and a 17-year-old. Those kids, on daily basis, like, ma, I like, what now? What do you want? I know they're going to ask for money. They're going to ask for favor. They're going to ask for something that makes me cringe. Only after hearing what they need, then I'll explain, then I'll be okay. But that sound of ma, I feel like, just get to the point and tell me what you want me to do for you. Because I know you cannot call me ma for nothing. That's the only hardest part in my life. But I love them to bits. Thanks, it's Debohoye from Dobsonville.
Ma, Papa, Dad. Oh, goodness me. But I mean, a 22-year-old.
Papa.
Yeah, it's not Papa. Dad. Yes, I mean, really. No. You have to do something about it. You must tell him, no, bro, chill. No, you must chill. But always happy to hear from you. And in case you're wondering, what's going on? What are they talking about on the radio? And you've just joined us. Earlier on, we asked what's the most difficult part of being a parent, or irritating. We are afraid to say irritating because we might be cancelled. So we just euphemize it and say difficult. And let's call it difficult for now. Difficult part about being a parent. Do share with us those moments where you feel, I shouldn't have become a parent. This is just way too much for me. Share with us on 072 702 1702, or you could call us on 011 883 0702. 20 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
With Tholakele Mganga. Tholakele, good afternoon. Welcome. What's the latest in the sporting world?
Thanks so much, Tabo. Well, South Africa have kept their FIFA World Cup hopes alive following a 2-1 victory over Nigeria in a WAFCON playoff match. Tembi Kgatlana and Refilwe Jane scored the goals in a performance that coach Desiree Ellis has hailed after they booked their spot in an Interconfederation playoff.
The game got bigger than what it is or was because of Nigeria being the opponent. We wanted to put ourselves in a position where we have another chance. And I think the way we took the game and the way we took it away from them at times and the way we controlled the possession, I'd spoken about controlling the possession better. I'd spoken about being better in the transition to defend, but also being better in the transition to attack, being clinical in front of goal. I think a lot of that came together today.
The Betway Premiership continues this weekend, starting with tonight's clash between Stellenbosch and Marumo Gallants. The pick of the weekend games is tomorrow's FNB Stadium showdown between Kaizer Chiefs and Mamelodi Sundowns. And with the Glamour Boys having started their campaign with back-to-back league wins, Ignacio Miguel has discussed how players are settling under new coach Fernando de Cruz.
The players, they play free, so I think that was one important thing that changed from the last season to this season. And obviously the camp was very important to create that bond, to create that connection. You can see not only about this game last night, about all the games on the preseason. We have a team that is very, very connected, very compact, something that was lacking a little bit in the past few seasons. So I think we are in a good way. Obviously it's a long road, it's a long journey, but I'm pretty sure that we will achieve something beautiful this season.
Cody Taylor's back from a calf injury and will captain the All Blacks against the Bulls in the third term match of rugby's greatest rivalry series. That's at Loftus Versfeld tomorrow. Taylor will be playing his 110th match, and coach Dave Rennie has discussed what he offers.
Pretty cool moment for Cody. He's named tour captain and sat to watching the sidelines the first couple of games. So, but he's worked really hard and we're stoked for him. He's such a good man. I know that the team were really excited about him leading the group on Saturday, and he's physically ready to go.
And Tanzid Hassan became the first Bangladeshi to score a test century in Australia as the visitors dominated day 2 of the first test to reach stumps on 351 for 6. His score of 101 helped the Tigers lead their hosts by 153 runs. That's with 4 wickets in hand. And at the close of play, Mehedi Hassan Miraz was not out on 32. That's alongside Hassan Mahmoud on 13 as they share in a 40-run partnership. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
With Mr. Karabo Charlie, the roads, how do they look? Is it getting very, very busy? I find Friday afternoons a bit frustrating at times.
Yeah, usually traffic gets pretty hectic earlier than usual, than other days of the week. But yeah, today not looking too bad, I must say. Nothing really hectic. Even driving to work this morning, traffic was not that bad. But if you're leaving Brakpan heading towards Germiston, Ekurhuleni, Germiston, Alberton side, there's traffic issues there. We've received a voice note alerting us to some delays.
Good afternoon, 702 family. Just to report traffic, the N17 towards Gosforth Plaza, the traffic as the cars are moving very slowly. So if you are in a hurry, just expect about 10-20 minutes delay to get to the N17 Gosforth toll gate and N3 to Joburg. Traffic is very slow.
Thanks for the heads up. If you know what's causing that delay, because it's not yet clear at this stage. It looks like it's roadworks, but you can always confirm that by WhatsApping us on 072-702-1702. Moving on to Benoni, between Benoni and Brakpan, there's also slow-moving traffic on Rangeview Road between Dube and Tom Jones. Sharon Lee, traffic sluggish on Malibongwe Drive. This is from the N1 to Belaise, while in Erasmus Kloof of Pretoria, there's also an accident scene on the N1 southbound near Rigel Avenue, causing delays from Garsfontein Road. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
16 minutes to 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Thabo Sholamashao in for John Perlman. You're on 702. If you've just joined us, where have you been? You've missed out on some great radio for the past 45 minutes. I'm glad you're with us, and you must stick around with us, especially for this particular aspect. And we have Tolagele Mganga in the studio to ask for her expert opinion, as we often do. We seek her premium advice on issues, all issues life, and she's the right person to offer us that kind of astute input in everything else that we
Okay,
do.
Tabo, someone lent the word of the
I
day.
need free tickets. I need free
Good luck
Pirates
with that,
tickets.
so do I.
I didn't do enough buttering
So
clearly.
do I, my dear.
Talagele, you good?
I'm good in
Lovely
here.
seeing you again. Here's what we were discussing a little bit earlier on, and it's about kids, really. What's difficult about being a parent? I know you're a great aunt, but there must be some few moments where you just want to pull your hair out and say, enough! Go to sleep! Those moments, what are they?
Obviously, I can't speak from a parental perspective, but I can speak as a former child myself. I think the main thing is kids never stop being kids. I know Karabo made the joke before where he was like, imagine you're 22 and you're still going mama.
Yeah.
Like, you, even when you are 65, like,
Yeah.
and your parents are still around, they never stop seeing you as like
Yes,
the parent in their life. I think about the fact that when I have to make like adult decisions,
Yeah.
I'm just still going to my mom like, hey girl, they're wanting me to do A, B, C, and D. And in her head, she kind of has to go, you realize that's a job, umdala. It's part of what you have to do.
Umdala.
But for me, I'm still like, you're still my authority figure. You're still my guide. So that never ends. And I think even imagine when you get overwhelmed as an individual now, and then you have to go home and Honalo Motu wants you. I always say work. I get overstimulated at work, and sometimes I don't even switch on the TV when I get home. You guys that are helping with homework. What am I gonna eat? I forgot my this. No.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
thank you.
It gets too much. It gets too much.
Telling you about a project late.
Exactly. Nah.
You've had this project for 2 weeks, dude, and you only telling me
know.
now.
My teacher said you must sign. When did you get this letter?
In the
3
morning.
weeks ago.
Yeah. You're dropping them off, and they said you must sign this, and you're like, banna.
Yep.
What's going on?
And then kind of going like, there's a trip that they have to go on. When are you on Mampara week? And they're like, no, it's just like 500 rand.
Yeah,
No,
you're like,
thank
what's
you.
going on? But I mean, also, are we going to be judged for that? Because I mean, we signed up for it. We invited these little lives into our big lives, and are we being unfair for venting and being frustrated?
No, I think if anything, the honest conversations from parents have helped people that are undecided about that parenthood journey to be able to be clear about, are they willing to step outside of themselves and take on full responsibility, because this is a job that doesn't end. It's not just about the pregnancy, it's about the individual. And I think the hardest thing about being a parent is when you're here and your kid is like somewhere in the world, you guys never stop worrying.
Yeah.
Me, my
Yeah.
only concern is just me and how I'm navigating the world. So
Yeah.
the ability to be that selfless is amazing, and it helps the rest of us kind of understand what goes into it. Because I think maybe when you're still a kid, you're like, well, if my parents had money, the parenting thing would be easier.
Yeah,
But now
yeah.
that you're older and you're hearing the experience of the
Yeah,
parents around you, you're like, okay, maybe I'm not fully equipped to
yeah,
do this job.
Yeah. And maybe we all must become a little bit more prepared to become parents before we opt for that big job of being mommy or daddy. How about being prepared for that? I suppose that would help. Look who's talking. 11 minutes to 4 o'clock. Lovely hearing from you, Talagele. And you'll catch her again a little bit later as she'll be giving us an update in the sporting world. 11 to 4.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
If you read the Sowetan, you would have come across a very interesting opinion piece by its editor. And the editor was opining that there are people who call Patrice Motsepe an outsider, as it's been contemplated as to whether he's going to be contesting for that big job in 2029 of leading the ANC, not just the party, but also subsequently becoming a hopeful for a presidential position in South Africa. And he writes very interestingly, he says about Patrice that those who call him an outsider are being ahistorical, because decades ago a troubled ANC fetched Dr. James Moroka from his medical practice to become its president, even though he had not been an active member. So Motsepe wouldn't be the first, but this is a different ANC. Mr. Shoba, thank you so much for joining us and really appreciate your time. Welcome to 702.
Good afternoon, Tibos, and thank you for inviting me, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Sibonga Konke Shoba is the editor of the Sowetan. He's the author of this piece. I mean, do you argue that the ANC needs Patrice Motsepe more than Patrice Motsepe needs the ANC? One would more likely agree with you at a first stance, but a lot of people are saying he'll face a serious uphill battle. He doesn't understand how structures work. Of course, he's been an ANC member for quite some time, but things have changed drastically since he participated actively. There's a lot. Dynamics of managing branch secretaries to provincial secretaries to disbanding branches and so on. Mr. Shoba?
Thanks for the opportunity to expand on the article. I would like to state from the onset, Thibault, that I have no interest on who becomes the leader of the ANC. But I must state that whoever becomes leader of the ANC, it's important because it's in the public interest, because the ANC is a significant player in our politics, and it will continue to have a significant voice and play a significant role in forming future government. So it's very important for the public to know what's happening around the ANC and its leadership. But I want to go and say that it's really not about Patrice Motsepe. I wanted to spark a debate about the ANC's claim to be on a route to renewal. But also spark a debate about whether it's time the ANC introduce reforms in its election process. They have done so at the local government level. There were a lot of committee meetings where people were selecting who becomes the ANC candidates in the local elections. And they've also opened up public participation in choosing their mayoral candidates. Why can't they do that when it comes to who becomes their president? Because whoever becomes the ANC president is most likely going to be one of the people who are chosen to become the next president of this country. So it's an important debate to have. That's the debate I was sparking for the public to have that debate. Coming to the issue of Mr. Motsepe. As I state in that article, Tibos, it will not be the first time that the ANC goes out, and they did so in 1949 when the ANC under A.P. Xuma was losing relevance, and the young leaders of the ANC were saying, no, we need more momentum, we need to be more militant, and they went out and got Dr. James Moroka, who was not even a member of the ANC. He was a member of the All African Convention, and he was not much of an activist. But that's the person they went and they got to lead the ANC. And I'm saying that why are ANC leaders threatened by people who are raising the name of Dr. Patrice Motsepe? Because given the poll that you referred to, we might argue about the poll and who's behind the poll. Is the poll behind the company behind it is called the Common Sense and the Social Research Foundation. There are a lot of questions about their intention and why they put together this poll, but it's out there and it shows you that among the ANC leaders right now who were mentioned in the poll, Dr. Motsepe is the most popular.
Is it of any help that he is digging in the heels of his silence? And we saw what happened when different situation in the then President Kgalema Motlanthe was also quiet, if not coy, about standing. His silence in all of this, is it helping or perhaps thwarting his prospects of becoming president of the ANC, rightly or wrongly?
Is following the ANC rules. The ANC frowns upon people who raise their hands, and they have threatened to take disciplinary action against anyone who starts the succession debate before the NEC opens up on nominations. So it's a way of playing within the rules of the ANC, because if he goes out of that might even lead to him being disqualified. But I must say, Tibos, we're having this conversation Firstly, we don't know if he's an active member of the ANC. Secondly, we don't know if he's really interested. According to the ANC constitution, you should be a member in good standing for 10 years in order for you to qualify to be in the NEC. So we don't know whether he qualifies to stand for election.
Yeah, but it's nonetheless interesting for the conversation, and contemplation or speculation is never a foreign thing in our politics, is it now, Shoba? But I just wanted to find out from you, before I say goodbye, is it your impression that the ANC would do better if he were to stand, and it would somehow offset what the polls look like currently? Would it be a proper candidate to inject the ANC with a dose of an extra life for another 5 years?
Look at Dr. Motsepe's record, Thibault. It speaks for itself. Dr. Motsepe started companies. He went to CAF. When he found CAF was broke. And you look at the CAF right now, he's in a very healthy financial state. The rules of the ANC for the 2022 conference was saying that you need leaders with the integrity, leaders with proven leadership record, and leaders who are not tainted, leaders who have not been accused of serious crime, leaders who have not been charged. And I'm saying that someone like Patrice Motsepe fits into that category. Someone who's very much respected across the world, given his position at FIFA right now as one of the VPs. And if I was in the ANC right now and I'm sitting at NEC and I'm looking around, who needs to succeed President Ramaphosa? And I'm telling you right now, if you sit there in that meeting and you look around and you're thinking about the ANC's previous performance in the 2020 elections, there is no one who can take you above even 40%, not even 50%, above 40%. Now, if you look at these polls and you say to yourself, who can do this? And I don't know. If I was in that meeting, I would say maybe let's look outside.
Sure. And before I say goodbye, I was just going to opine, Shoba, that perhaps his strengths could be his handicap. And being meticulous to detail perhaps is not a prerequisite of becoming an ANC leader. Maybe you'll add that in your next piece. Thanks very much for indulging us on 702. Sibonga Gonke Shoba, the editor of The Sowetan. 2 minutes to 4 o'clock.
In the last 24 hours, what happened in your world?
A KwaZulu-Natal police officer was allegedly paid more than 2.5 million rand by a tow truck company owner. The Madlanga Commission has heard that the head of the KZN Police CIT task team, Dina Govender, received several suspicious cash payments between August of 2022 and December of 2023.
24 hours a day. Eyewitness News. In touch, in tune, and independent.
So the other day I get this call from an insurance company. They asked if they could quote me. I said, quote me? I can't remember what I said. But if you're still thinking about it, it must have been pretty good. Mom always said I have a way with words. They just put down the phone. I don't get it.
Don't get that insurance. Get Pineapple. It's easy to get and online. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
The world is moving fast. Consumer mindsets and preferences are changing in real time. AI is creating new rules and timelines are shorter than ever. At Plus 94 Research, we help leaders reduce uncertainty. We deliver authentic, real-time data grounded in proven methodologies and powered by relevant, cutting-edge technology. So when decisions can't wait, you move forward with clarity, confidence, and impact. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision-making.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
And it's time for Eyewitness News at exactly 4 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Higher Education Minister suffers blow at PTA High Court and red flags in lifestyle reviews of senior police. Good afternoon, I'm Mikey Malapo. The High Court in Pretoria has suspended the appointment of NSFAS Administrator Professor Hlengani Mathebula and ordered the previous board back into office. This is pending a full review of Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela's decision to place the student funding scheme under administration. Judge Neil Labuschagne ruled that the minister failed to properly consult the NSFAS board on Mathebula's appointment and did not give board members an opportunity to raise concerns about his suitability for the role. Nkosikona Malengamnisi has more.
The judgment places significant emphasis on adverse findings made against Professor Hlengani Mathebula by the Nugent Commission of Inquiry into SARS, which criticized his handling of allegations of corruption and governance failures during his time as a senior executive of the Revenue Service. The court said those findings were highly relevant to the appointment of an administrator tasked with overseeing a 54 billion rand fund that's battled governance and audit challenges for years. It said Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela either failed to properly consider those findings or relied on inadequate explanations before making the appointment. The court concluded that the appointment appeared both procedurally and substantively irrational and that the former board members had strong prospects of success in their review application. The court also expressed concern about potential harm to NSFAS if Mathebula remained in office while the review process unfolded, noting that a statutory deadline for the submission of financial statements had already been missed during his tenure. Nkosikona Malengamnisi, Eyewitness News.
The treatment of foreign nationals and migration featured prominently in discussions around the SADC summit in Durban. This comes amid growing tensions over undocumented migration in South Africa, including recent protests and calls for tougher action against foreign nationals. Regional leaders are expected to discuss how Southern African countries can address migration while strengthening regional integration and cooperation. The 46th Ordinary SADC Summit will be held in Durban on Monday, with Ramaphosa set to take over the SADC chairperson for the 2026-2027 term. The president delivered the SADC public lecture at the University of KwaZulu-Natal today.
We cannot submit to the intimidation and harassment of people seen as coming from elsewhere. As South Africans, we are deeply concerned and ashamed that nationals from other countries have in recent months been subjected to discrimination and ill treatment.
Acting Police Minister Firoz Kachalia says they've identified hundreds of discrepancies in the lifestyle reviews of senior management officials over the last 5 years. He says these are mainly failure to declare vehicles, properties and directorships in companies. Kachalia says in some instances, property and vehicle purchases by some officials was not proportional with their known income. Balandenza has more.
Acting Minister Firoz Kachalia released the details of the lifestyle audits of senior management in a written parliamentary reply to a question from the DA's Lisa Schikkeling. Schikkeling asked whether any discrepancies or potential conflicts of interest have been identified involving senior SAPS management in the past 5 years. Kachalia says in 2021, 77 discrepancies were identified out of 611 senior management service members. This has grown to 122 discrepancies identified out of more than 700 members from April this year to date. Kachaila says asset declaration and financial disclosure processes identified cases that warranted further scrutiny in relation to unexplained wealth indicators. But Kachaila says in most instances, the discrepancies identified were resolved through consultation and the verification and correction of records. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News.
The Eastern Cape government is giving itself a month to get to the bottom of issues fueling protests and shutdowns in Engcobo. Premier Oscar Mabuyane has ordered the Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs MEC to investigate allegations surrounding the management of Dr. A.B. Xuma local municipality. The protests have centered on calls for the removal of municipal manager Kachutelo Mulaudzi, with protesters raising allegations of corruption, nepotism and years of poor service delivery. The shutdowns this week brought schools and businesses to a standstill and disrupted traffic along the R61. The Premier has directed that all investigation reports be made public. Spokesperson Sonwabo Mbananga.
The Premier's position is very clear. Allegations must be investigated and facts must be established. Whether you're a politician, a civil servant or a municipal employee, if wrongdoing is established, consequence management must follow. Nobody is above the law or the governance prescripts that regulate our institutions.
Bananga says police are on high alert to restore normality in the town.
Government fully respects the constitutional right to peaceful protest, but that right cannot be exercised by taking away the rights of others. Learners must be allowed to attend school, workers must be able to go to work, and businesses must be allowed to operate.
And in Southeast Asia, Indonesia's President Prabowo Subianto has vowed to close 750 state-owned enterprises by year-end. This as he mounts the possibility of a special court today to investigate unproductive boards reporting made-up profits. Southeast Asia's biggest economy has long battled corruption in its public and private sectors despite strengthening anti-graft laws, creating special investigative commissions and arresting several high-profile people. In a State of the Nation address to Parliament today, Prabowo said that there are far too many unproductive state-owned enterprises always reporting losses while claiming profits that are just made up. With the establishment last year of Indonesia's Danantra, a sovereign wealth fund to manage state assets, the president told lawmakers that they discovered there are 1,074 state-owned enterprises, some of which operate as they please with no sense of responsibility to the nation. He says so far 290 have been closed, adding that by December 31st, there should be no more than 300 left. A look at your weather. I beg your pardon, gold is trading at $4,389.14 an ounce. The rand is at 16.19 to the dollar, at 21.94 to the pound, at 18.74 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $87.10 a barrel.
Road report heading towards Soweto. There's an accident scene on the N1 southbound before 14th Avenue, causing delays from Beyers Nodia. While in Germiston, there's still slow-moving traffic. This is due to roadworks. N17 westbound between Osborne and Wits Rifles. Erasmus Kloof Pretoria accident scene on the N1 South near Rigel. This is causing delays from Garsfontein.
In your sport, Banyana keep their World Cup hopes alive with victory over Nigeria. Kaizer Chiefs looking to end their Mamelodi Sundowns hoodoo as they clash in the pick of the weekend's Betway Premiership fixtures. And New Zealand's Cody Taylor preparing for his first game as tour captain.
A look at your weather. A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng. Tomorrow, Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 3 degrees and peak at highs of 19. Pretoria is at 5 and 22. Vereniging's at 1 and 18 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The High Court in Pretoria has suspended the appointment of NSFAS Administrator Professor Hlengani Mathebula and ordered the previous board back into office.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. John is not here. My name is Thabo Shola Machao. We're together till 6 in the evening. Great having you with us. This is the second hour of the show. Second lap. We are smack bam in the middle of the show, and we are hopeful that you'll stay with us till the end. It's always amazing getting your voice notes that come through on 0727021702. But first, let me just give you a hint as to what's coming up on the show. You'd remember that story where the NSFAS board had taken the Minister of Higher Education, Buti Manamela, to court over his appointment of an administrator to oversee NSFAS. The court has come back, as you might have heard in EWN News with Mikey of recent. But the court has said they need to be reinstated. The board that was dissolved, and then the administrator that was placed to be overseeing the day-to-day runnings of NSFAS, Professor Hlengani Mathebula, has been told to take a back seat. So the minister has had the court slap his face to say, your decision was wrong. We'll chat about that in a short while. In the meantime, I look forward to your voice notes on 0727021702. Remember, we did ask that question in the first hour. A more difficult thing about being a parent for you. What is it? 10 minutes after 4.
Hey, Tabo and the 702 team. I have 3 beautiful children, but they're not children anymore. Only the last born is a child. He's 14. My first one is a daughter. She's now 31. She doesn't call me mama anymore. It's like Sisi. Sisi, I need a favor. Sisi. Yo, Sisi. This.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, as I'm speaking to you now, we just spent the whole morning and half of the afternoon together, having breakfast, having conversation, talking about everything and everything, scannering, a daughter and a mother, scannering like nobody's business. And then I have a 25-year-old son, similar, when he walks in, geez, we'll talk about anything and anything, tease him about when are you getting married, I need a makoti, and then I have a 14-year-old, I need to do homeworks, this and that. I am loving every moment of it. Yes, and I thank God every day for them. It's Portia and Midrand.
Hello, Tabo and your listeners. I don't think we need to look at those moments as difficult or irritating. We need to look at them as experimental. And that's how we're going to enjoy parenting. I didn't raise my son due to traveling and everything else, that living in different countries. I'm raising my grandchild now. It's the most beautiful thing. I am rediscovering myself. When they say we should see the world through the eyes of their child, they mean exactly that. Every day is an adventure, every day is an experience. And the irritating moments, I'm seeing that as rediscovering myself and seeing things differently and being experimental. It's beautiful and beautiful and beautiful. This is Lyring from Cape Town.
Very, very interesting. I do want to hear from you more about that. So, of course, the kids are amazing and they come from a beautiful place and they are just angelic in their nature. But I suppose it's because we mere human beings. We are flawed, we are broken, we are short-sighted, and at times we become irritable. We have short fuse as parents, and we're not perfect. But generally, they're amazing. But there are those moments where you want to say, "Go to your room and leave me alone." I hope not as many times as it would be in other instances. But great hearing from you on 072 702 1702, 13 minutes after 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. Mr. Charlie will ask you, how do the roads look?
Well, at this stage in Rudaport, there's an accident scene on the N1 southbound. This is near 14th Avenue, already causing about a 30-minute delay all the way from Malibongwe Drive. So if you're leaving Fourways heading towards Soweto, allow for extra traveling time, or just avoid the N1 at all costs and use Witkoppen Road and Christian de Wet as alternatives. In Germiston, we still have slow-moving traffic on the N17 westbound between Osborne Road and Wits Rifles, while in Erasmus Park, that's in the Pretoria area, there's an accident scene on the N1 southbound near Rigel Avenue, slowing down traffic from Garsfontein Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen can't help you with your fitness goals, but they can get the traffic flowing smoothly so you get to the gym in time. For that cardio workout, the Outsurance pointsmen are real heroes in green and purple, easing traffic congestion and making our lives easier for almost 21 years. Just another way you always get something out, in proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag pointsmenlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Local government elections aren't about politics. They're about the roads you drive every day, the water you need, the electricity you rely on, the rates you pay, the services you deserve. You see, local government isn't somewhere else. It's your neighborhood, your street, your home. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk and EWN will be where the issues that matter to you are put in the spotlight, where the tough questions are asked, where the crucial conversations begin, because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
Mandy Wiener's podcast, The Hope Dealers, tells the stories of people changing the narrative in Joburg. Mandy has spent weeks witnessing the passion and the collective action of the Hope Dealers, who are individuals and organizations working to restore and rejuvenate Jozi. Catch a new episode on the podcast on the Midday Report every Wednesday after the news headlines, or watch the full The Hope Dealers video on Prime Media Plus. This week, Mandy is at City Kids, an inner city school quietly changing young lives in the heart of Joburg. City Kids demonstrate that a different future is possible in one of the toughest parts of the city. The Hope Dealers on Prime Media Plus.
Hi, this is Michael Owen, Hollywood Bets brand ambassador. Being a champion, I know the best performances come from making the right decisions on and off the pitch. Enjoy the game, enjoy the excitement, but play responsibly. Gambling responsibly is about staying in control so you can enjoy it your way. If you or someone you know needs support, help is always available. Call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counselling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Uncertainty is rising, but your business still has to deliver. Production targets need to be met. And when your workforce is out of balance, the cost is immediate. Too many employees? Costs climb. Too few? Productivity drops. Workforce staffing helps businesses stay in control with flexible workforce solutions, deployed within 48 hours nationwide. When demand changes, your workforce can change with it. Visit workforcestaffing.co.za. Stay productive, stay flexible, stay in control.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
17 minutes after 4 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. Thabo Shole Mashao in for John Perlman. We're together till 6. I did threaten to speak about that story of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, as we refer to it colloquially as NSFAS. And you'd remember that the Higher Education Training Minister Buti Manamela had dissolved the board and placed it under administration. And if I'm not mistaken, this was somewhere in May, and subject to correction for that particular date. But today, we understand that NSFAS Administrator Professor Hlengani Mathebula's appointment has also been suspended by the Pretoria High Court, which ordered the reinstatement of the board after the court cited bizarre conduct from Mathebula's past at SARS, South African Revenue Services, and procedural flaws in Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela's intervention. Former board member and now reinstated board member, Advocate Richard Ramashia, joins us for a bit of context and insight on this bizarre story. Advocate, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
No, afternoon, and afternoon to your listeners, and thank you for having us.
Do you feel vindicated as the previous board to be reinstated?
Yeah, to an extent, we do feel that the points that we had canvassed with the minister, and central to that being our view, then that we were not supposed to go to court because it was not necessary. The intervention of the minister at the time was unwarranted because, in the words of the minister himself, on several platforms, publicly, the minister, including in Parliament, the minister had spoken glowingly about a changing picture at NSFAS. And that changing picture, he had agreed then that it was attributed to the work of this board that he had sought to put aside. So from that perspective, we felt that the actions of the minister were not in line with the empowering provisions of the law. And we did canvass a perspective in our court papers that we held a view that the minister was acting for a purpose other than the purpose outlined in the law.
Sure.
And to that extent, we do feel that we are vindicated.
Before disbanding you, he had said that he was concerned about the governance of NSFAS and its capacity to fulfill its mandate. And NSFAS received a disclaimer from the Auditor General for its 2024-2025 annual report and failed to modernize its ICT systems and continues to grapple with many unresolved student appeals. And we all know about the problems that have been bedeviling NSFAS. Do you believe, is it your belief that these were overstated, you were capable and you were aware of your mandate and you had things in control? Or those issues are still there and this is just a technicality from the court? The board still needs to step aside and allow people who are more competent to pursue the board's mandate?
You know what is interesting is that all those things that the minister speaks about, he admitted in Parliament and he admits in court papers that they cannot be attributed to this board. There have been several applications before court, the first application being his own application when he sought to review the appointment of the board. And he had said in his court papers that the board has done a stellar job and that there is nothing, malfeasance or anything of that nature that could be attributed to this board. I want to talk about the audit report that you made reference to, which is the audit report that the minister made reference to. That audit report is the year ending 2023. This board was only appointed at the beginning of the recent financial year. So you cannot attribute a financial year which preceded our appointment and the audit report there to this board, and therefore say things that emanate from that audit report should be or can be used as reasons to take action against this board. The report in question covers a period that preceded the appointment of the board. So the minister or at least should know that he cannot do that. He cannot say, somewhere before you were appointed, there were these things that the Auditor General had noted, and these things are of concern to me as the minister, and as a result, I'm disbanding you. I mean, it's illogical to argue like that. The issues that the minister raises about modernization of ICT and all of those things, those are the issues that the minister requested a report from the board. He had given us two deadlines, the first report and the second report. By the time the minister announced his decision to dissolve the board, he had received the first progress report. He had not received the second progress report, but he was a few days from receiving that report. I think about 3-4 days from receiving that report.
Sure.
But the report that the minister had received had painted a picture of improved relations. One of the biggest issues that existed at NSFAS is that we had lost partners who were very crucial to modernizing our IT systems. And these partners had withdrawn working with us, some of them being public institutions, because they believed then that NSFAS had lost credibility and they could not work with NSFAS because that may compromise their systems.
Advocate,
but then we
allow me to, I only have just a few minutes, so pardon me for my rudeness. I'm not taking a side or provoking you in any way. But very quickly, the issues that are germane to this, I wanted to find out from you. You had objected as the previous board when you took this matter to court on the administrator himself, Professor Hlengani Mathebula, citing the Nugent Commission outcomes and also citing that he was not a suitable person for this. But you are also somehow throwing aspersions on the motives of the minister to take this decision. Share a bit of that with us, please.
The issue of Professor Mathebula, I mean, we had said to court, and the court has, if you read the order, exceptionally agreed with us, to say he is far from being a proper candidate to solely take over the affairs of an important institution as NSFAS. And we have said that Professor Mathebula at some point was at SARS. And when he was at SARS, he was fingers in gross wrongdoing. So gross that he was suspended from work. But today, the court says in agreeing with us, the particular line the court used is that Prof. Matebula lacks the moral groundness to occupy a position of authority. And that was the point we canvassed with the court, that this cannot be an individual to be trusted with the affairs of NSFAS unless the motive is different.
What then do you believe was the motive of the minister to appoint him specifically, because that also comes under scrutiny?
Well, this is a matter that we had canvassed in our court papers, and you will remember that when we were invited earlier, we had said that there are issues before court. But I think because we had appeared before Parliament, it is common cause now that we held the view that the minister wanted to interfere in the activities of NSFAS, including how the position of the chief executive officer is finally filled. I mean, to this day, we had appointed a chief executive officer. The minister was supposed to concur only in relation to the salary package. The latest I checked, the minister has not done that, and there is no reason for that.
If that's the case, is the minister a suitable person to be the minister of this very interesting department, particularly having oversight role over NSFAS? Is he the right candidate to be overlooking NSFAS duties and activities?
I think colleagues in Parliament I've heard them express their view, but ultimately, I think the views that are expressed both in Parliament, in public platform, and everywhere, including what comes out of court, would ultimately inform those who are decision makers. I do not think that I can express a view about the suitability of Minister Manamela to occupy the office he occupies. I can only point out at things that I believe that he is acting outside of the empowering provisions, the law in particular being the NSFAS Act.
But also his motives, as I said, it is your belief that his motives were not proper and pure in taking that decision. I don't think that a court decision would then dissipate those motives into oblivion as a result.
Yes. I mean, I imagine that should the court agree with us and find that the minister acted for ulterior motives, that will be a serious indictment on the credibility of Minister Manamela to remain in office as minister. But the court is yet to pronounce itself in as far as that is concerned. It's a version that we have put before court, supported it with whatever information that we have, but the court has to make an ultimate finding on that one.
Advocate Richard Ramashia, thanks very much for your time, former NSFAS board, but now they've been reinstated. I suppose board member at NSFAS, 27 after 4.
EWN Business.
I'm not sure if he's a board member elsewhere, but he's definitely sitting on the chair.
Bored.
Stephen Rotes will give us the very latest in the world of business. Hey, buddy, I hope you're good.
Double, been a while. Good to see you. The JSE All Share down 0.06, resources up 1%, industrials down 0.42, financials down 0.68% on the day. Not sort of huge amounts of movement. One or two interesting things happening in some of the energy shares. So Sasol's up 1.71% at the moment. Pan-African Resources, they're up 3. Life Healthcare is up 2.73. And then some of the minerals are up a little bit. So Implats is up 1.67. DRD Gold is up 1.46. They both had results out this week. The JSE itself is up 1.8% on the day. Exxaro down 2.83%. They said, this is the coal producer, their headline earnings are expected to drop by around 20%. In their SEND statement, they said that's because of lower income from their equity-accounted investments in the Sishen Iron Ore and the Black Mountain Mining Proprietary Limited. But I think also the currency sort of swung against them, and I think that's had a little bit of an impact in some ways. Alpha Min is down nearly 4. Absa is down 3.35. Standard Bank down 3%. Mr. Price is down 2.14 as well. And Redefined Properties down 2%. Also, we get news from the education group Stadio. Their headline earnings will be up by around 15% for the period to the end of June. And the industrial and chemical group KAL, reporting its headline earnings will be up by around 85%. They say they had higher operating profit and lower end finance costs. They were able to reduce their net debt by around 1 billion rand. So they'll be quite chuffed with that, I suspect. In the US, things looking a little mixed at the moment, to be frank. The Dow Jones is down 0.05. The Nasdaq is up 0.06. The S&P 500 is up 0.11% at the moment. The gold price, $4,391.35, so holding its own. Platinum, $1,750, 40 up slightly. Brent crude kind of hovering, $86.96. I mean, we prefer it to sink rather than to hover, but that's where we are. That's what oil does. It floats. So it's hovering at the moment. and then the rand to the dollar, 16.17 to the euro, 18.73 to the British pound, 21.93. Stephen Crotis, EWN Business.
Be back with us in an hour or so, Stephen Crotis, that is. But for now, Mikey Mulapo will give us the latest in eyewitness news headlines. Hi, Mikey.
Thanks, Taba. Good afternoon. MPs have been visiting SANDF soldiers and police officers to get a first-hand appraisal of Operation Prosper, which is government's latest attempt to halt gang violence in the Cape Flats. The MPs visited Eysterplaat Air Force Base earlier today, where they met with soldiers who have been deployed since April. Behind closed doors, soldiers raised several issues with the MP, complaining about their lack of equipment, delayed allowances, and operational issues. Quinton Mgyala has more.
The visit by MPs follows a viral video last month in which an SANDF soldier was captured slapping and kicking a 25-year-old woman in Elsie's River during an operation in the area. Chairperson of Parliament's Police Portfolio Committee, Ian Cameron, said the soldiers he spoke to felt frustrated over numerous issues with regard to their deployment.
There's a definite disconnect with regards to the operation on the ground. That soldiers feel on the one side that the police don't always attend to matters with the relevant urgency, or that they stay away from certain criminal strongholds.
Cameron said in terms of sharing intelligence, soldiers were not regarded with any importance by the SAPS management, and this hampered operations. Quinton Mgyala, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
Minki Mazibuko-Tulo has been relieved of her duties as chairperson of the broad-based Black Economic Empowerment Information and Communication Technology Sector Council. Communications and Digital Technologies Minister Solima Latsi says his decision to remove Mazibuko-Tulo follows concerns raised by council members and stakeholders. The concerns relate to a breakdown of relations between the chairperson and other council members. Malatsi has appointed Loiso Taira as interim chairperson, while William Ledwaba will serve as interim deputy chairperson.
This follows my consideration of all the serious concerns raised by current and former members of the council stakeholders, and the findings of the departmental special investigation report into the council, and the breakdown of relations between the chairperson and other council members.
And France's top constitutional authority has struck down a ban on social media access for children under 15 today, dealing a blow to the legislation championed by President Emmanuel Macron. The Constitutional Council found that Article 1 of the legislation constitutes an infringement that is neither appropriate, necessary, nor proportionate to the freedom of expression and communication of those under 15. After the ruling, the LSE Palace said Macron had tasked Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu with working on a new legally robust draft of the legislation. The palace says Lecornu will have to work as quickly as possible on a draft that takes into account both the Constitutional Council's ruling and the European regulatory framework. The president pledged to enforce the legislation by next month, and his office says his determination to see the reform implemented remains undiminished. A growing number of countries are taking steps to restrict social media access amid multiplying warnings over its harmful effects on children. A look at your weather. On Saturday in store for Gauteng. Tomorrow, temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 1 and 5 degrees and peak at highs between 18 and 22 degrees.
Equestria, there's a slow-moving traffic on Solomon Mahlangu between Stellenberg and the N4. Donkerhoek, there's roadworks slowing down traffic. This is on the N4 eastbound, approaching Donkerhoek off-ramp, and in Roodepoort, there's that accident scene on the N1 south before the N14 off-ramp. This is slowing down traffic from Malibongwe Drive.
A look at the top story in Eyewitness News this hour. MPs have been visiting SANDF soldiers and police officers to get a first-hand appraisal of Operation Prosper, which is government's latest attempt to halt gang violence on the Cape Flats.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Stray bullets killing kids. Sleepless nights because of gunfire. Whole community saying do something about gangs. For many people living in areas infested by gangs, it's become part of everyday life. This is their reality. But now, next Wednesday, Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Policing will begin its inquiry into gang violence in South Africa. The chairperson of the committee says South Africa may need to reconsider the bail system, for example, for certain gang-related crimes. Ian Cameron, as far as gang violence in South Africa is concerned, how worried should we be?
It's a crisis. Some parts of the country, gang violence has become a small-scale war. Obviously, it poses a significant threat to the well-being of children. and you just simply cannot live that way. How do you build a sustainable or a prosperous future being surrounded by such violence?
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Remember the first time your soul felt alive, or the last time music moved you so deeply you didn't want it to end? That feeling is calling you back. You're officially invited to come experience soulful performances from global icons Kamasi Washington, Temba and Africa Mkhize, Nubia Garcia, Ibrahim Malouf, Judith Supuma, Angelique Kidjo, Ndabo Zulu, Melanie Scholz, Floyd Tree, Thandi Somazai, and 40 world-class acts. 4 incredible stages of the Sandton Convention Center, 1 unforgettable experience at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, 25th to 26th September. This is Jazz Reignited. Get your weekend pass now via Ticketmaster.
That's Thabo before he got naked. When Thabo's car broke down, he did what every manly man does best: hit things, fiddle, and hope it works. So Thabo got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now call roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Tools down, Thabo. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, 702 listeners. Oh, mine. I don't know how to call this. My daughter is my chomi. We call each other chomi, Mugel, and yo, it's so nice. But yo, something worse is that we wear the same clothes. We buy the same clothes. Everything is the same. Like most of our clothes are the same bag, shoes, everything. Woo! This one.
In 200 meters,
we are actually twins. People call us twins.
Chibos, I lost Patrice's respect. I lost his respect when CAF announced that they will continue supporting Infantino. With everything that he has done, that's when I then realized that, okay, maybe this guy doesn't have the balls to actually take a stand and say right this is right, and be able to maneuver and be able to take a firm stand. That's when I lost his respect.
Hi, Thabo. If I had the money, I would take the Minister of Higher Education to court and force him to run NSFAS like SASA, because the system is there. I don't know why they don't want to use it. If they run the system like SASA, that would mean the millions that they're spending on the CEO, the third parties, and the board will go towards student funding, and the shortages that they keep on talking about will decrease considerably. I don't know why they don't want to use that system. The only reason I can think of is that they won't be able to siphon money out of it. That's the only reason I can think of. Zweli in Chemiston.
Zweli, that's very concerning. And in case you're wondering what Zweli is referring to, earlier on we had a chat with Advocate Richard Ramashia, who is a board member at NSFAS. You'd remember that the minister had disbanded the board and appointed Professor Hlengani Mathebula to become its administrator. The court has since ruled that Professor Hlengani Mathebula is not suitable to do that, and the board has been reinstated. I mean, this ruling is very scathing, because it does not only look at procedural flaws of the minister in undertaking his duties herein, but it's also speaking about an individual who is not suitable to be an administrator. This is another one of the NSFAS issues that keep unfolding. It was not too long ago, I think Clement was speaking to an EFF member of parliament who sits in the Committee of Higher Education. And he was adamant at the time that we are going to see more and more dramatic episodes coming from NSFAS. He was predicting that we will see another board very soon, and it's not even been a week, and we are seeing the board being reinstated. Where to from here? 20 minutes to 5 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
With the capable Tholakele Mganga, who'll give us the very latest in the sporting world. Hi again, Tholakele.
Hi, Thabo. While Desiree Ellis says the aim is now to regroup and recoup for Banyana Banyana. That's after they secured their spot in a World Cup Interconfederation playoff. South Africa beat rivals Nigeria 2-1 to seal their spot in the mini competition as they salvaged some pride from their failed WAFCON campaign. Ellis has also discussed what they'll be working on with the playoff scheduled for November.
Have to look how we can strengthen the squad, how we can work on a few things that we need to work on, because as easy as it may seem, get 5 days to work on defensive organization, attacking organization, set pieces, finishing, it's not enough. Unfortunately, it's not enough. And hopefully we'll get a little bit more time to be able to fix a couple of things. I thought as the tournament went on, we got to better defensively as well. I thought we got better on the ball as well. Our final third still needs a little bit of work.
New Zealand have become the latest nation to withdraw its support for FIFA President Gianni Infantino's re-election bid over the aborted commercial rights stake sale plan, while Oceania's Federation have cautiously backed the governing body's leadership. Infantino has faced revolt from UEFA, the Asian Football Confederation, as well as CONCACAF, who've all called for a review of his leadership while also attacking his conduct. That's over the plan to bring private investment into FIFA competitions, including the World Cup. Infantino will seek re-election for a fourth term at the Congress next year, with African and South American confederations declaring their continued support. Switching over to the Betway Premiership, where Asanele Velipai believes that Kaizer Chiefs' youngsters will thrive under coach Fernando de Cruz. His comments come ahead of tomorrow's clash with Mamelodi Sundowns and after Luke Batman shone in the 2-0 win over Sekhukhune United in midweek.
Batman getting his first goal was inspiring from me, and also a happy moment, a proud moment, I'll say, because we came together from the youth of IS Cape Town, which is now Cape Town Spurs. So seeing Batman scoring was almost as me scoring my first goal. That's like a brother to me. We came a long way, so that was a proud moment. What I've picked up about Coach Fernando is a very demanding coach. Even when you feel like you're doing your best, he's always like wants that 1% extra.
And Johan Ackerman believes that the Bulls can pull off a surprise win over New Zealand when they clash at Loftus Versfeld Stadium tomorrow. New Zealand have claimed 2 wins from 2 on their South Africa tour, and this clash is their final warm-up ahead of next week's first test against the Springboks.
We want to see certain things that we've practiced on, and if we can do that and do it against one of the best teams in the world, that will give us a great foundation to work from. Yes, we want to, obviously if we can win, we'll win. That's the nature of the game we're in. But what I'm saying is if we can walk away and say, okay, this is the things we work on, this worked and this didn't work, and how can we adjust that and tweak that before the URC start? That's probably the biggest focus, is to try and do the stuff that we want to see.
Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. I'll ask you, Mr. Charlie.
Sure.
The roads, how do they look, bro?
Well, at the stage in Tshwane Equestria area, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Solomon Mahlangu between Stellenberg and the N4 in Donkerhoek. Roadwork still slowing down traffic on the N4 eastbound. This is approaching the Donkerhoek off-ramp. In Noordgesig, traveling into Soweto, there's an accident seen on the N17 westbound near the Soweto highway, causing huge delays from the N1. Also traveling between Cosmo City and Honeydew, there's traffic pressure on Malibongwe Drive between Witkoppen and the R114. In Roodepoort, there's that accident seen on the N1 southbound before 14th Avenue, slowing down traffic from Malibongwe Drive. And in Alex, heading towards Germiston, expect about a 20-minute delay. This is on the N3 southbound between the Patlu Interchange and Gilulis. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 47. Did I turn the iron off? Oh, the inner turmoil. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
Things that take place when the microphones are off. 15 minutes to 5 o'clock. Welcome back. Lovely having you with us. John is not here. My name is Thabo Shole Mashao, and I intend to keep the furniture just the way he would prefer it. And hence, we still have the same features. Nothing has moved. And of course, you are also intact. You are right where we would like you to be, here with us on 702. Tolagele, random question. Without divulging much, do you live by yourself or with some people at home?
I live by myself.
Okay, it makes my next question a little bit difficult. Let me ask Mr. Charlie, then I'll come back to you, Tolagele. Karabo Charlie, do you live by yourself or with some company?
I live with two other people, my son and my partner.
I don't want to incriminate you. You don't have to mention the roles in your life. You can just say, I've got two roommates.
Yes.
That's it. There's a lot that's taking place out there. I don't want to incriminate you. So the question that I have, and Tolagele, you might from experience have encountered this before. Things that you buy, yet you hide away from people that you live with. Your spouse, your siblings, your mom, your aunt. But, you've bought this thing at Sentence Square just after work and at Sentence City after work. But you just feel this harsh feeling of guilt inside of you. You can't just walk in the house with this item because you're going to be judged or whatever else, or you just don't feel good about it. What is that item?
I never regret buying an item. I'm so sorry. It takes me a long time to spend a large amount of money. Yeah. That's why I know, Hori, I will never regret it. But I love how you think that because I live alone, I don't have that shame. Wait until your mother decides that they're coming over for a weekend. Now you're going, why didn't she see the last time she was here? I need to explain where I got those sneakers, where that dress comes from. But I remember it's something very small. But when I was still living at home, so she used to take the bus. But there's a bus stop closer to us. But there's one that was next to the mall. People know it, but it's about Sontonga Mall.
Yes.
So when she got off Sontonga Mall, she would go to the Chicken Licken. And then as she's walking down, Naja Chicken Licken, and then when she gets home, she throws in the outside dustbin. So then on Saturday, when me and my brother were spring cleaning, then we'd use the outside dustbin and we're like, where does it? So I'm just look, now that I'm older, I sometimes you have to hide things. Sometimes you have to hide things.
So for your mom, it's Chicken Licken.
We also knew that she bought herself sweets when she would send us, when she wanted something from her bag, she would get it herself.
Yeah.
Because there was something in there that she didn't want to give her children.
But when there are no sweets, she sends you.
Everybody can go open their handbag. You see, that's why parenting is a full time. Even at this big age, when I go home, I'll open her cupboard and be like, what's new here? So I can shop in the cupboard.
And you, Mr. Charlie, what do you hide from your two roommates?
I can tell you what my partner hides all the time without fail. It's clothes and shoes.
Really?
I only find out that she bought something new when maybe we're going out and she's wearing them. And I'm like, I haven't seen those before.
Yeah.
And then I'll get this panic attack. And then how much were they?
She's like, it's been here. This is an old thing.
Yeah, it's been here
for ages. I bought it long ago.
Even the tag is gone in the dustbin. Our company, it doesn't want to show me the price. And then what I hide, because she hates gambling. When I buy a lottery ticket.
Really?
Yes, she's like, no gambling. She just doesn't like it.
You can just play Lotto on your phone, right?
I know, but that's still buying from your phone. And if she finds, when I win, then she
what happens then?
I always feel guilty if I've bought myself a nice pair of shoes or a clothing item. I keep it in the car for the longest of times. And then when there's no one there, that's when I sneak it in. And make sure that it's hidden right at the back where no one will suspect it. That's why whenever I buy a pair of shoes, I don't want a box. I No, keep your box. I'll grab it in a plastic bag.
Let me introduce you to the great philosopher.
Please.
Some call him Steve Gompela. You work hard.
Yes.
Spend that money.
Yeah.
That's what you must do. Never feel bad
I
about
do
it.
spend, but I feel bad. Then people say, they're like, "Oh, where's mine? Where's
Oh,
mine?"
yeah.
You see, that's what I'm trying to avoid.
That's me as well. When I see clothing items, like, what did you buy me?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. 072 702 1702. Things that you buy but hide away from people that you live with. 10 minutes to 5.
Randall's One Song on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive with John Perlman.
John is not here, but the furniture will remain. My name is Thabo Shola Mashao, and Randall is here. He's part of the furniture that I don't move when John is away, because it's fantastic always getting to hear from his musical taste. Randall, happy Friday. Hope you're good.
Very good, and yourself, Thabo. Good to speak to you.
Lovely chatting to you. I'm all good, thank you. I can't wait. I tried to hide it from myself, the kind of song that you'll play for us, but the producers always give it away. I'm keen to know about your choice today. What informed it?
So what informed it is a revival of a music, a genre, and really it only got this title quite recently, in the last 10 to 15 years, I would say, called City Pop, which is a style of music that was very influential and successful in Japan, kicked off around about 1975, but really reached its zenith in the 1980s. And it's made up of jazz, funk, soul, disco, sunlit pop. It's very sleek. It's very cool. If there's a Western equivalent, I would say something like Sade, for example. Maybe Everything But the Girl, an album called The Language of Life. And obviously, at the time, Japan had the second biggest music market in the world. And it coincided with a time in Japan that was very economically, great for the population. The yen was very, very strong. The economy was very, very strong. And in a way, the music reflected that. And the reason that I came to this style of music today is because there's a big festival taking place in the UK at the Crystal Palace Bowl this month called City Pop Waves, that features some of those pioneers from the scene. So, I thought that having, played one song before, I thought that we'd take a listen to another. And I think it's certainly a style of music, as I say, it really didn't make an impact in South Africa, and to be honest, anywhere else in the world. But it's a really cool, well-produced sound that yes, certainly has a lot to do with the yuppie generation as well.
I was just about to ask that any music genre, however niche it may be, it's often associated with certain type of people. So there'd be a group of people who are generalized to be somehow fanatics of that particular genre. And I was going to ask you, this particular city pop music phenomena, who would we associate it with?
Well, as I say, a time in Japan that was very economically vibrant. People were doing well. And at the time, it wasn't called city pop. It was just the music that was on the radio. People who are into music or try and sell music are always trying to categorize things, even if it is 20 or 30 years later. But as I say, at the time, it was just, what you'd be in Japan and you'd switch on a radio and this is what you would hear.
I really can't wait for to hear what you have in store for us. Let's go straight to it, Randall. Do you want to be a radio DJ and pre-announce it?
Yeah, it's a song called Monday Morning by a group called Bread and Butter.
朝の渚をあなたと歩いたよあの日もちょうどこんな時間だったよ Monday morning 5 o'clock I'm awake 5 o'clock まだ暗い朝 Monday morning 5 o'clock I'm awake 5 o'clock 一人目覚めた海辺の部屋でまだ暮らしているの僕の帰り待って一人あなたは帰って行こうか別れたわけじゃないまだ波の音遠く聞こえてるよ、Monday afternoon 3 o'clock I'm dreaming 3 o'clock どうしてるだろう Monday afternoon 3 o'clock I'm dreaming 3 o'clock 街は賑やか
Sounds like one of those songs, Randall, that Quentin Tarantino would quietly play behind those macabre scenes of swords flying, blood splashing, and yet the music is just so calm and cool behind.
Very calm.
Yeah.
Yes, the interesting thing is that so that kind of style of city pop is quite influenced by early 70s groups like Bread and even the Eagles, because there are all those harmonies. It was the style was very influenced by what was happening in the West at the time, but obviously with a Japanese sheen and a Japanese take on everything.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing to consider is that a lot of these songs, had it not been that they were, solely in Japanese, I think had they been, a few of them been in English, they would have been big worldwide hits.
Sure. I think you just read my mind, because I was going to ask, why wasn't it as popular? Why did it fail to reach that status of being a global phenomenon? I think that answers it, that perhaps if it was in English, we'd be talking a different story now.
Absolutely. And as I say, that type of music was, as I say, again, if you look at sophisticated bands like, certainly like, the style of Sade, then I think, yes, had it been in English, it would have certainly seen quite a few hits outside of Japan.
Randall, thanks for another musical lesson, man. I look forward to chatting to you again in the future. Randall's one song, some feature that you don't want to miss at all. 2 minutes to 5.
Since its establishment in 1990, thousands of successful leaders in the legal profession have walked through the doors of the Law Society of South Africa's School for Legal Practice. Not only do we promote professional training, but our lead schools across the country provide training in over 25 learning programs. For the best practical vocational training course for future leaders, come to LEAD. Visit our website on lssalead.org.za. LEAD, your #1 school for legal education.
Dad, how come Mom's not coming to my soccer game?
Well, Mom isn't allowed to come to your soccer games anymore.
Is it because she tried to tackle Coach KB for giving me a red card?
Maybe.
Humans who fiercely protect the people they love. Welcome. Search Liberty Protect to protect your life and legacy today. Liberty, in it with you, all of you. Liberty Group Limited, a licensed life insurer, an authorized FSP and part of the Standard Bank Group. T's and C's, risks and limitations apply.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
Just after news at 5, we will just zoom into Madlanga Commission for a little bit. And then, of course, your favorite is still here much later on. A song, a book, and a dish. It's exactly 5 o'clock, time for news.
This is EWN.
National Carrier Acting Group CEO grounded with immediate effect, and Higher Education Minister mulls over scathing High Court ruling. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Molapo. We begin with News Just In. SAA has placed Acting Group CEO Matsela Sishibe on special leave with immediate effect pending the outcome of an internal process. In a brief statement, the airline's board gave little detail about the reasons for the decision, saying only that it relates to an internal process. The board says the move reflects its commitment to good governance, accountability and protecting the interests of the airline and its stakeholders. Chief Legal Officer Kukimbeki has been appointed Acting Group CEO with immediate effect to ensure leadership continuity and operational stability. Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela says he's urgently considering the implications of a High Court ruling that suspended the appointment of the NSFAS administrator. The ruling suspended the appointment of Professor Hlengani Matebula as NSFAS administrator and ordered the former board members to resume the management, governance and administration of the student funding scheme pending a full review of the decision. 7 former NSFAS board members took Manamela to court, arguing his move to dissolve the board was an irrational, unlawful political intervention with an ulterior motive to block them from appointing a permanent. Nkosikhona Malengamnisi has more.
In a statement, Manamela says he's noted today's judgment by the Pretoria High Court and has sought legal advice on its implications, including the legal remedies available to the department. In response, the NSFAS board welcomed the outcome, saying it would immediately resume its governance responsibilities and focus on stabilizing the institution, strengthening governance and delivering on its mandate to fund qualifying students. The board says it will prioritize addressing concerns that have emerged around NSFAS and has pledged to act against any wrongdoing, misconduct or unlawful conduct uncovered through its processes. Reinstated board member Advocate Richard Ramashia.
The actions of the minister were not in line with the empowering provisions of the law, and we do feel that we are vindicated.
Nkosikhona Malengamnisi, Eyewitness News.
The Constitutional Court has halted offshore oil and gas exploration along Eastern Cape's wild coast by multinational giants Shell and Impact Africa Limited. The matter has been in the courts since 2021 when an application to halt imminent seismic blasting by Shell uncovered that a separate company, Impact Africa, had gained the same license in 2014 without meaningful community consultation. This before transferring a 50% stake to Shell. By 2024, the Supreme Court of Appeal found the granting and renewal of permits was unlawful but allowed for a third renewal application. The Apex Court today pulled the plug on that arrangement, stressing the necessity of public participation to uphold human dignity and environmental protection. Advocacy group Natural Justice's Melissa Groenink.
In setting aside Shell's exploration right, the court ultimately put people over profits and confirmed that those who are complicit in an unlawful process cannot gain an advantage from it.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard that former IDAC head Andrea Johnson not only unfairly targeted suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola, but also his daughter. This was revealed by IDAC prosecutor Drusantha Ramsamy during the final leg of her testimony at the Commission today. Ramsamy testified about IDAC's investigation into a multi-million rand police health services tender awarded to a company owned by alleged crime boss Vusmusi Ket Matlala. Mushana has more.
IDAC prosecutor Drushanta Ramsamy says former IDAC head Andrea Johnson was determined to link suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola to the case involving Vusmuzi Ket Matlala. Ramsamy says Johnson instructed IDEC team members to dig for information and find dirt on Masemola despite there being no evidence against him. She says the situation became even more concerning when Johnson began targeting Masemola's daughter.
Why would they want to look for links with General Masiamola's daughter or investigate General Masiamola insofar as Mr. Matlala is concerned when there was absolutely nothing pointing to any link with General Masiamola? It was clear, at least to me, that General Masiamola was a target and the rules would be broken to catch him by any means necessary.
IDEC eventually charged Masemola with violating the Public Finance Management Act. However, the commission previously heard that these charges did not make sense and were made up in an attempt to embarrass the National Police Commissioner. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
And the Cape Peninsula University of Technology has estimated damages from recent student protests to be worth at least 400,000 rand. Students at Bellville, District 6 and Wellington campuses have been protesting this week over demands they say management has failed to address. This despite the university withdrawing its draft financial plan, which includes the proposed upfront payment of 7,000 rand for academic and residence registrations from next year. CPUT spokesperson Lauren Kensley says the unrest has damaged infrastructure while a staff member has been hospitalized after being struck by a rock.
CPT has already begun fixing an estimated 400,000 rands worth of damage caused by protesting students. This week, internal maintenance teams started sweeping buildings and reinforcing points of illegal entry in an attempt to protect valuable infrastructure left vulnerable during this recent period of unrest.
Gold's trading at $4,387.97 an ounce. The rand at 16.18 to the dollar, at 21.92 to the pound, at 18.74 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $87.85 a barrel.
Hermanstad expects some delays on Eskia Mphahlele between WF Nkomo and Van der Hof. That's leaving the Pretoria CBD. Nooit Gesig heading into Soweto. Accident scene on the N17 westbound. That's at the Soweto highway, causing delays from the N1.
In your sport, Banyana keep their World Cup hopes alive with victory over Nigeria. Kaizer Chiefs looking to end their Mamelodi Sundowns hoodoo as they clash in the pick of the weekend's Betway Premiership fixtures. And New Zealand's Cody Taylor preparing for his first game as tour captain. A look at your weather. A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 3 degrees and peak at highs of 19. Pretoria is at 5 and 22. Vereeniging at 1 and 18 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. It's news just in. SAA has placed acting group CEO Matsela Sishibe on special leave with immediate effect, pending the outcome of an internal process.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 5 o'clock. Great having you with us. John is not here. My name is Thabo Sholemashau. I'm happy to be in your company. I hope your Friday is going well. And this is the last lap of the show, the final hour, as we prepare for the big weekend. I wanted to give you some heads up that your favorite is here, a song, a book, and a dish. We'll be speaking to Nthabiseng Dubazana, Director at Dubazana Attorneys, and she will be giving us insights into her favorite song, her favorite book, and a dish that she prefers. So it's something that you really don't want to miss. Mpumelelo Zigalala is legal expert and will shed a light on the Madlanga Commission, the implications, especially on Suleiman Karim. Where to from here? But we've seen of recent that a number of individuals who appear before Madlanga Commission, they then head straight to the courts. What brings that about? Mpumelelo will shed a light on that and much, much more. But for now, I did ask you a question to which I expect an answer, a response. Remember, I asked you, together with Tolagele and Karabo, things that you hide from people that you live with. You buy this thing at a shopping mall, but you do not have enough courage. You can't muster enough courage to walk with those plastic paper bags into your home because your housemates are going to say, what's in there? And they will then give you just one look and like, okay, nice shoes. And that will make you feel guilty. So things that you hide away from people that you live with, you buy them. It could be chocolates. It could be clothing items. What is it? Let us know on 072 702 1702 through your voice notes. And earlier on, we were also speaking about parenting. A difficult part of being a parent. What is it for you? On the same number, 072 702 1702.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
Good afternoon to us and the team. Speaking about the bond between the parent and the child, my son is 19 now. We share the love for football, both locally most and international. The influence that I had is that here at home, he supported the team I was supporting. International, I was not that strong, but my team is Arsenal. So he decided to make his choice as a Chelsea fan. That is where we lost each other. So to me, that says the time spent with him, understanding me, rooting, following what Daddy is rooting. So he ended up doing that. Then he went internationally, found himself alone. So he had to make a choice. Now he's in university in the Western Cape. He calls me, was playing Michael Franks. He says, Daddy, this song reminds me of home. This song reminds me of you. So that says there's a part in me that says there's something, Andile, correct, you are doing that the young man is observing. And that makes me so emotional and happy at the same time. Andile here in Bracken Downs. Thank you.
Andile, I'm just awed at this. Amazing. Especially the Michael Franks part. That's the song that reminds him of home. And there are those kind of songs, eh? The home songs. You think that this song belongs only to my home. It's an exclusively my household song. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I love your story, Andile. Please do share with us some more on 072 702 1702, 11 minutes after 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. My question to you, Mr. Charlie, how do the roads look?
Well, at this stage in Pretoria, leaving the CBD, you can expect some delays in Hermanstad. This is on Eskiam Pahlele between WF Nkomo and Van der Hof. While in Wonderboom, still in Tshwane, traffic sluggish on Steve Biko Road between Hertog and Lombard. While in Nooitgesig, heading into Soweto, accident seen on the N17 westbound. This is at the Soweto Highway, causing heavy delays from the N1. Roodepoort, there's also that accident seen on the N1 southbound before 14th Avenue, slowing down traffic from Malibongo Drive, heading towards Germiston. Expect about a 20-minute delay through Alex. This is on the N3 southbound from the Between Change to Gilulis. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Deciding to ignore your alarm may cost you your complimentary hotel breakfast. But deciding to stay with your current car insurance could be costing you thousands of rands in savings a year. With Outsurance, for the 8-year-old Adam saves an unbelievable 1,803 rands a month on his 2020 Audi Q3. Switch to Outsurance. You too could be one quote away from having more money in your pocket every month. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
Local government elections aren't about politics. They're about the roads you drive every day, the water you need, the electricity you rely on, the rates you pay, the services you deserve. You see, local government isn't somewhere else. It's your neighborhood, your street, your home. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk, and EWN will be where the issues that matter to you are put in the spotlight, where the tough questions are asked, where the crucial conversations begin. Because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk, and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis presents the School of AI, the first of its kind in Africa, powered by 100 world-class AI experts, delivering cutting-edge training, consulting, and real-world AI solutions. Regenesis has embedded compulsory AI modules across all their programs and 12 of their schools, from business and law to education and technology. Join the movement now. Enroll at regenesis.net. Regenesis, one institution leading the way.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
What's for dinner tonight, South Africa? Hiya, Jamie Oliver here. Dinner stress? Forget it. I've teamed up with Checkers to bring you some of my favourite recipes the whole family will love. Like my delicious chicken and mushroom stroganoff. Creamy, hearty and ready in 30. Easy peasy and delicious. Shop the ingredients on Checkers 6060 and boom, delivered in 60 minutes. Every week, 5 brand new dinner ideas. Checkers, dinner done better.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
Welcome back. Great having you with us. You might have picked up my conversation at the beginning of the show with Alpha Ramushwana as we're discussing the Madlanga Commission, particularly as it related to Suleiman Karim, who has been AWOL and avoiding to appear. And now the Commission has had enough and they are deciding to take legal action against him, Suleiman Karim, that is. And many of you have proffered in the past that a number of individuals who make an appearance at Madlanga Commission find themselves in trouble with the court of law as a result, directly or otherwise. And we will be putting a spotlight on that right now with legal analyst Mpumelelo Zigalala, who's joining us on the line. Good afternoon, Mpumelelo. Thanks for joining us on 702. I hope you're well.
Good afternoon to you, and also good afternoon to our listeners.
Let's start with a very sensitive issue of Suleiman Karim, who has been avoiding using, I suppose, all sorts of excuses to appear before the Commission. The Commission has had enough now. What legal options or weapons do they have in their arsenal?
Well, the Commission's Act and the regulations govern the manner in which the Commission works. And it says if you have been invited to come, then you must provide the reasons of why you shouldn't come. If they are legally related, the Commission then reserves the right to do further investigation. If they so feel that whatever that you've given to them is not something that they can be able to accept, they can open up against you, which is the contravention of the provision of the Commission's Act. And one of those would be, if you are invited, you should come. If you don't come, then that is an offense on its own.
And in this instance, are we going to see some things, the implications that are similar to those of the Zondo Commission as they impose them on former President Jacob Zuma?
We may see them, but in a different format. For Zuma, I always say, this is my personal view, that was a travesty of our legal system and the manner in which things ought to have been gone by. Because the normal procedure is, if there's a contravention that has taken place, like everyone, you and I, you go to the police station and open up a case. The police will investigate, take the matter to the NPA. The NPA will prosecute. You don't then take this particular matter to the apex court and get direct access. And after you've done that, you then provide an imprisonment term for such an individual, even though the law would allow that in other lower courts. But procedural compliance is just as important, which is why I think in this case, the Madlanga Commission then decided, no, we're not going to head to court or to any dispute resolution forum. We're simply going to open up a case and refer it for further investigation and then take it from there.
Could that also be a saving grace or perhaps a necessary shield for Karim to use in a protracted way to navigate the very long court system or the legal options that are available to him right now?
It could be, but that only covers one part of maybe the type of legal problems that you can be facing. Yes, we can escape you not having to attend the Madlanga Commission, but you're not going to escape you having to deal with NPA prosecutions if they feel that they need to prosecute you. It does put you in an advantage, because once you state anything under oath, it remains with you. You cannot disassociate yourself from it at any other stage. So I think it's either he's saying, I'm really sick, I cannot be able to come and tell it all within the Madlanga Commission, or let me answer where it matters the most, which is the court of law. So I'm going to try and avoid up until the end of the year or up until the end of next year going there. And I don't care the type of assertions that they can arrive at. They are not going to impact me. What impacts the most is the court of law. It may be that it's the type of stance that he has taken.
Is it buying time?
Definitely, but it remains to be seen after the investigation. It's one of the reasons that can be there. Another reason could be that he's really sick. And if he's really sick, he cannot be able to come and give meaningful information.
Setting precedents of sorts, perhaps to potential witnesses that may be needed, or anyone who's been called to Madlanga Commission. Now they may think a pattern has been established here. I can actually play the catch the mouse forever game, and it may only be heard next year when Madlanga Commission is no longer fashionable.
Well, it will depend on whether you are certain that it's going to end in November. You may find a situation where the president then says, you've been so effective in bringing law and order back into this country, let me extend your term by a year. It then means that you are now going to play cat and mouse again for a year, something that is not going to be enough time for. But another thing that you must remember, even though you still have the different courts that you can go to, when it comes to criminal proceedings, a bit different. So I can have the NPA investigate the matter within a week, take you to court. There's the criminal proceedings which are now taking place, find you guilty, and then escalate the matter. You can escalate the matter up until it gets to the court, all within a matter of 3 months. If I'm lucky and using tactics which are going to be able to assist me. So even if you've gone that particular route, it's not going to serve you any purpose, because they are going to come back with a criminal record and still with an order that says you must go and answer at the Madlanga Commission or face your time in a prison. Even after all that, you still have the NPA breathing down your neck in terms of the allegations that have been leveled against you.
Justice Malanga mentioned a very interesting phrase. He said laying a charge is not recommending a charge. It's for SAPS to decide whether or not to investigate. It's on the current matter that we are speaking about. What do you make of it?
I think it was laying the procedure that needs to be followed, because you are the aggrieved party or the victim in this case. And you're simply saying, police, I think there's something that has taken place. I'm the chairperson of the Commission of Madlanga Commission, and there's a person who does not want to come to me after reading the Act. These are the provisions that are there, so I think a contravention has taken place. Please go and investigate. So it's not a recommendation even as such. It's just a request to say, please investigate the transaction that I think might have taken place. If it has, then prosecute the individual accordingly. So it will then be the SAPS and the NPA to deal with the matter, and they will take it from there.
Do they have what you call in your avenues as law, as prima facie case, in a sense where it was also referred to by the evidence leader? I think it was, I'll get her name right in a second, but she did mention that other than the fact that the Commissions Act has been somehow contravened, there's an issue of Karim having claimed to be sick, but there's footage of him being seen on various occasions, leisurely, recreationally, at Woolworths and in various shopping centers, where he seemed very much okay. I would suppose that as lawyers, you would have a field day with that kind of evidence. If someone had to say that you are not sick because they saw you at Woolies, you'd have a field day with that person and in the counter. But to what extent does the Commission have a formidable case, at least on the surface?
Well, you must remember that there must be technical compliance in any crime that is going to be alleged that you've committed. So then the question would be, at the time in which I was at Woolies, was I meant to go to the commission itself, or was it another time? Was it a time in which maybe it's less than 24 or 48 hours since I've wrote into you and say, yes, I cannot be able to attend due to ill health? On that basis, let's look at the basis of the ill health that I had complained about. Is it something that I can be able to recover from within 24 hours? For example, if I say I have diarrhea. Or is it something which is much more severe, which would need more than 48 hours in order for me to survive? Then when you then go back, you then say, let's look at the technical aspect of it. The fact that I went to Woolies may be neither here nor there. But what I'm charging you for is that I've asked you to come on a specific day and you have failed to do so. So one, I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond. If you fail to do that, then I want my independent expert doctor to go and check whether you are sick or not, because I don't trust your doctor. I want another person who's going to provide secondary advice, and then we can take it from there. But if you fail to do so and you're providing evidence as to why you haven't appeared, let's hear that evidence in a court of law, be able to test it as we move along, and then we'll be okay.
And he has refused, by the way, before I say goodbye, Mpumelelo Zikalala, legal analyst, on this issue. I've also thrown my eyes on the fact that Karim refused independent medical assessment. Will that work against him in this instance, or will it also be a subject of very complex legal arguments?
Well, it's going to add to the legal arguments, and I think it would be one of his defenses to say, well, I wasn't assessed at the time in which I said I was sick. So by the time you made your assessment, I was better. So if you're going to make a pronouncement of my level of being sick, you must do so. It must coincide within the time in which I was supposed to go to the commission. So the longer you take to get that doctor to come to me or to get that order, the more time in which I've now received to get healed. To recover. And even if I'm recovered, no one says that the recurring illness that is taking place will not occur on the day which I need to appear.
Yeah, some of us are in wrong careers, Mpumelelo, right? But really appreciate your time. I wish you the best. I hope we'll chat again. Thanks for really shedding the light on these important issues. Mpumelelo Zikalala, legal analyst, 26 after 5.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
Welcome back, Thabo Sholemashao in for John Perlman, and feel free to send us your thoughts about any interview that we may be having, any discussion we may be throwing on air on 072 702 1702. I'm still keen, by the way, to hear from you about which items do you hide after buying them. You don't want your roommates or your housemates to see when you get home. Let us know on 072 702 1702, 27 after 5.
702 podcast
on primemediaplus.com. EWN Business.
With one Stephen Grotes, and he'll give us the very latest in the world of business. Stephen, this is something that you may have touched on, and perhaps when I was, getting out of the vehicle and I must have missed it. The Foschini Group complaining that they're not doing well, and also saying that they, compared to the past 52 weeks, they are a couple of billions short, and because people are spending less on disposable income, it's very restricted. People are spending on what they need and what they can survive on.
Oh, yeah, they were also hit by a stronger rand to a weaker pound. And the other thing to remember with them at the moment is obviously their British operations are battling because that economy is incredibly weak. We sort of, for some reason, I suppose colonial reasons in South Africa, we see the British economy as strong. It's not. And a lot of the South African companies there have battled a bit. The other thing is that there's a lot of competition in that sector. So if you think of how ferocious Mr. Price is as a competitor, you've got Truworths as well. So you've really got to work hard. There was something they did, though, that was quite important. Their online sales were up, but they also, I think, have been able to get a lot more people coming into their stores, which really does matter. So
very interesting. I impose myself on your bulletin.
Not
Please
at all.
continue.
Please impose away. You know those Fridays where you're just like, oh, will the week just end? The JSE having one of those. It's down 0.05, 114,061 points. Financials down 0.5%. Industrials down 0.31. Resources up 0.84% on the day. Oil slightly higher than it was yesterday. Implats ending the week up 3%. They had an update out earlier in the week. The JSE also up 2.74. Pan-African Resources up nearly 2.5%, and Sasol up 2.34. I think just to change it out, look for Sasol if we look at oil prices at the moment. Life Healthcare also up 1.94, and MTN up 1.6. Exaro down 3% today. The coal producer saying the headline earnings expected to drop by around 20%. So they say there was lower income from the equity accounted investments at Sishen and Black Mountain, but there are one or two other factors. I was talking to Zulaka Mguni a moment ago. He's our market commentator tonight. He'll make some comments about that. The education group Stadia, their headline earnings will be up by around 15% for the period to the end of June. And the industrial and chemical group KAL, their headline earnings will be up by around 85%, they say. Standard Bank is down 2.67%. And then Mr. Price that we were just talking about, they're down 2.28%, while Redefined Properties are down 2% and Lightprop are down 1.91%. And Clicks, by the way, we were talking about them last night, they're down 1.77% on the day so far. In the US, things looking down towards the end of the week. The Dow Jones down 0.15, the Nasdaq down 0.35, the S&P 500 down 0.14. The gold price at the moment, $4,386.70. One of the stories of the week, the resilience in the gold price. Platinum, $1,746.90. And Brent crude up, I'm afraid, $87.97. You know, there's this band between sort of 80 and 90, kind of on where we are with the war. You know, that's really what it boils down to. 2 more ships attacked in the Strait of Hormuz. Lots of arguments about how much oil is getting there, as we made the point on the Money Show last night. Iran has to use the lever of closing the strait, otherwise it loses the entire power of that. And so I do expect there'll be increased efforts to do that. The rand to the dollar, 16.18, to the euro, 18.74, to the British pound, 21.92. On the Money Show tonight, another CEO gone at SAA. I mean, it is the most astonishing thing. So we will talk about that. We will talk this evening as well to the chair of the Financial and Fiscal Sector, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, Unathi Kamlana. He's got some very interesting thoughts on AI and finances and what happens when it goes wrong. Who's responsible? I'll give you a hint, Double. Not me, but. And then in Friday File tonight, what's the most you've ever paid for a bottle of water? Like ever? Were you at Sun City?
Yeah.
Were you in Switzerland by mistake?
I think about $100.
Yeah, I was thinking, I think like in a normal life in South Africa, the highest maybe is like 50 and grudge, eh?
Yeah,
grudge.
No, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
These are people who now spend 10,000 rand on a bottle of water.
What?
I mean, I'd say I wouldn't pay that for whiskey, but I mean, it is astonishing. We'll talk to a water sommelier.
Really?
Yeah.
There's something like that in the world.
He's from Stellenbosch. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
And you'll catch him again between 6 and 8. And actually, I was listening to your show, Stephen, very informative about AI. You had a smart guest who was speaking about the watermark that some companies are thinking of. I found it very informative. It's a show that you don't want to miss between 6 and 8. Something that you don't want to miss, Eyewitness News headlines right now with Mikey Mulapo. Mikey, we late. Apologies.
Thanks, Tabo. Good afternoon. The High Court in Pretoria has suspended the appointment of NSFAS Administrator Professor Hlengani Mathebula and ordered the previous board back into office. This is pending a full review of Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela's decision to place the student funding scheme under administration. Judge Neil Labuschagne ruled that the minister failed to properly consult the NSFAS board on Mathebula's appointment and did not give board members an opportunity to raise concerns about his suitability for the role. Nkosikona Malengamnisi has more.
The judgment places significant emphasis on adverse findings made against Professor Hlengani Mathebula by the Nugent Commission of Inquiry into SARS, which criticized his handling of allegations of corruption and governance failures during his time as a senior executive of the Revenue Service. The court said those findings were highly relevant to the appointment of an administrator tasked with overseeing a 54 billion rand fund that's battled governance and audit challenges for years. It said Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela either failed to properly consider those findings or relied on inadequate explanations before making the appointment. The court concluded that the appointment appeared both procedurally and substantively irrational and that the former board members had strong prospects of success in their review application. The court also expressed concern about potential harm to NSFAS if Matebula remained in office while the review process unfolded, noting that a statutory deadline for the submission of financial statements had already been missed during his tenure. Eyewitness News.
The Gauteng Roads and Transport Department says more than 60 minibus taxis have been taken off the province's roads in a recent blitz. Provincial transport officials found serious mechanical defects, including faulty brakes and worn tires. The Remove Skorokoro campaign also found dozens of minibus taxi drivers without valid licenses. The MEC spokesperson, Lesiba Mpia, says they're treating public safety with the seriousness it deserves.
And we are coming from a situation where I think in the month of May, we took 82 minibus taxis that were unroadworthy off these roads. And these operations are part of our ongoing commitment to road safety and compliance across the province.
Mpia says they're targeting high-risk corridors and areas where there's evidence of non-compliance.
We are very serious about public safety. So basically, this is not a punitive measure. This is about saving lives, and not necessarily about disrupting industry operation. We are not targeting the taxi industry per se. We are definitely targeting unsafe and illegal behavior on our roads.
And France's highest constitutional authority has upheld in its entirety legislation granting adults suffering from an incurable condition the right to assisted dying, while ruling that some provisions required clarification. The approval by the Constitutional Council will see France join the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland and Canada, which have already legalized the practice. The legislation passed by the French Parliament last month after years of debate establishes a right to assisted dying for some adults suffering from an incurable condition. To be eligible for assisted dying, a patient must be of legal age, a French national, or a long-term resident. They must suffer from pain that is either unresponsive to treatment or, in the patient's view, unbearable if they have chosen not to receive or to stop receiving treatment. A look at your weather. A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 1 and 5 degrees and peak at highs between 18 and 22 degrees.
Hermanstad, Pretoria, leaving the CBD. Expect some delays on Eskiam Pahlele between WF Nkomo and Van der Hof, while in Pretoria, traffic, in Roodepoort, traffic is sluggish. This is heading towards Leratong on Randfontein Road, approaching Adcock. Alex, heading towards Germiston. There's slow-moving traffic on the N3 southbound. This is between the Batlu interchange and Kilulis.
The top story in Eyewitness News: the High Court in Pretoria has suspended the appointment of NSFAS Administrator Professor Hlengani Matebula and ordered the previous board back into office.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
On the Midday Report, every day from 12 to 1 p.m, we will bring you breaking news from the scene as it unfolds with newsmakers, reporters, commentators, experts and analysts. We'll explain the stories of the day, give you context for why they are important and what they mean for you. It is everything you need to know in 1 hour, from news to global events, business, sports, science, books and always some good news too. Appointment listening every day at 12 with the Midday Report.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
The conversation doesn't stop when you get behind the wheel. With the Prime Media Plus app, you can now listen to 702 through Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, seamlessly integrated into your vehicle. No dropouts, no detours. Stay connected to the latest news, insightful conversations, and voices you trust. All in crystal clear digital sound. Download the Prime Media Plus app today and take 702 wherever the road leads.
That's Amanda before she got naked. When the power tripped, Amanda felt more helpless than when her mom-in-law called her lasagna different. So Amanda got naked. She got car and home insurance at a lower premium and can now call an electrician anytime via the Naked app. There we go. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
EWN Sport.
With Tolagele Mganga. The latest, Tolagele, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Tabo. While Desiree Ellis admits she didn't initially understand the World Cup Interconfederation playoffs format, with Banyana due to compete in the mini competition in November, South Africa booked their spot after a 2-1 win over Nigeria, and Ellis has discussed what she expects with the game set to determine their participation at next year's tournament in Brazil.
Once I know, I'm not sure if it's two groups because it's 6 teams. You have Ecuador. You have Papua New Guinea, you have Chinese Taipei, you have Uzbekistan, obviously I have Ghana. So I know, I'm doing my homework, so I know. And ourselves, so we'll see how it goes. We'll withdraw and then we'll plan it from there.
Fernando de Cruz faces his toughest assignment so far as Kaizer Chiefs head coach, with his team taking on Mamelodi Sundowns in the Betway Premiership tomorrow afternoon. In the league, the Glamour Boys have impressed with 2 wins from 2, but they're still reeling from a surprise MTN 8 quarter-final exit at the hands of Lamontville Golden Arrows.
Difference today from us to Sundowns, it's these players in Sundowns that they play together since a long time. The coach is with them since a long time. He just arrived since 1 month and a half. He put his model game on the field. Players understand very well, but we need time also. So it's for that tomorrow it will be 2 different styles of football. Okay, but we will face, but don't worry, the team will be ready.
The English top flight's curtain-raising Community Shield takes place on Sunday as Premier League champions Arsenal go up against FA Cup winners Manchester City. Mikel Arteta has discussed the challenge of going up against Enzo Maresca in their 2026-27 season opener.
Enzo has the personality, the character, and especially the knowledge to have an unbelievable job there. And that's why he's been selected, because they could probably pick anybody, and they've gone for Enzo for the right reasons. He has demonstrated that at every level, when he's gone to the Champions League and what he's done, when he's been at Chelsea and now here. So I have no doubt that he will do a great job.
The All Blacks have one last chance to fine-tune their plans ahead of the first test against the Springboks, which takes place next Saturday. They'll take on the Bulls tomorrow, looking to make it 3 wins in a row against the South African franchises. The Pretoria side have been boosted by the inclusion of Aurich Lowe and Johan Grobler, who'll start off the bench, while Dave Rennie has sprung his own surprise by naming Josh Jacob at number 10.
I wouldn't have been surprised if he started at 10 in that final and Damien at 15 for the Chiefs. That's the sort of impact I think he'd had. And he's a confident kid. He's got a really good skill set. What I like about him is his ability to connect in behind, but understand based on pictures when it's on to go. Yeah, we just want him to be confident. He's got good players around him. He's got a lot of experience around him, and just get out and enjoy it.
Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
With Mr. Karabo Charlie, will give us the very latest on the roads. Mr. Charlie?
Thanks, Tabo. Well, at this stage, things have settled down pretty nicely throughout 702 land. Just a few issues, though. Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, expect some delays on Eskiam Patlele between WF Nkomo and Van der Hof. In Roodepoort, heading into Lerato Kagiso area. Traffic sluggish on Randfontein Road, approaching Adcock, and in Alexandra, you can expect some delays heading towards Germiston on the N3 South from Marlborough Drive to the Kilulis interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Do you have a car you like to sell, but don't trust your uncle or your pal? Then we buy cars, it's just for you. Buying cars is what we do. We offer service with a smile. We always go the extra mile. Use a place that you trust and sell your car to us.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Peregrine Capital presents Brian Habana's Count to 100.
In my journey to 100, it started with my first cap, then my second, 10th, 50th, 90th, 99th.
Brian Habana, his 100th international test. You get to 100 one decision at a time. For 28 years, Peregrine Capital has applied that same discipline to turn 1 million rand into 100 million. Peregrine Capital. Invest in performance. An authorized FSP. Past performance not indicative of future performance. T's and C's apply.
Strong communities are built on a strong local government. Every day, municipalities work to deliver the essential services that improve lives and support thriving communities across South Africa. As the voice of local government, SALGA represents, supports, and empowers municipalities to build capable institutions, promote good governance, and advance effective service delivery. SALGA, inspiring service delivery.
Randall's One Song on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive with John Perlman. A song, a book, and a dish.
On 702.
A song, a book, and a dish. I'm not moving furniture, as I said. John would be speaking to a very interesting person today about a song, a book, and a dish. And so am I in his stead, because I don't move furniture at all. I know this is your favorite feature, so we don't want to tamper with it. And today is no exception at all. Legal mind, sharp, focused, and very precise. Moves with precision on all legal issues and a bit more. You've heard her on the station and on various other platforms. And she is a director of Dubazana Attorneys. I'm speaking about none other than Nthabiseng Dubazana, who's my guest on a song, a book, and a dish this evening. Nthabiseng Dubazana, thanks for your time. Welcome. Great chatting to you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tavo. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for the beautiful intro, and thank you for having me.
I think it's completely befitting, and I'm the one who's grateful that you made time for us, even though we are not speaking about legal issues, complex as they may be. Today we're taking a bit of a breather to speak about you. I hope you're well, and as I was looking through some of our prep, and I was just wondering, it's not only legal books that you read, are they? You should be reading other lighter stuff than that. Except for Mills and Boons,
Actually,
of course.
my favorite. Actually, that's where I started in high school. That's how. That's what got me into reading novels, and
Yeah.
I was reading Mills and Boon, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm tired of romantic things.
Yeah.
So what do I want to read going forward? And then I got introduced to Dan Brown,
Yeah.
and then I
yeah.
got introduced to a few other what is this, authors, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
And then a few years ago, I think it's about 8 or 9 years ago, I got introduced to The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Of course.
And the person that introduced me to it said, this book will change your life. And
Yeah.
at the time, my life was just not going right. And I read this very small book, and I'm used to reading like 800 pages. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, am I going to even enjoy this book?
Yeah.
And I read this book, and when I read it, to say it changed my life is an understatement. It really did change my life. That is my favorite book.
Really. I'm interested, but take us a few steps back. I mean, you have two brothers, and
Yes.
from your mother's side, and you where did you grow up? It must have been something else. Whenever you have older siblings, at times it feels like they are picking on you as a younger sibling. Is that what you experienced?
My experience is a little bit tricky, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
So yes, I do have two elder brothers, one from my father's side and one from my mother's side.
Sure.
So I grew up with the one from my mother's side, and yeah, it's a bit of a sad situation, that relationship, because it wasn't really about being picked on. It was having to go through things that no one, I don't believe anybody should go through that with their sibling. Unfortunately for me, I had to go through being molested
Oh, I'm sorry.
and all of that by my own brother. So no, it's okay. I've with time I've dealt with it. I've gone to therapy. My mom has helped me through it,
Sure.
and all of that. But then my brother from my father's side, I met him in 2022. So I've known that he existed, but we never connected. And just when lockdown was being, relaxed a little bit, he had reached out and we started talking via Facebook, and then we ended up on WhatsApp. And then now I have an elder brother that is so protective of me.
Yeah.
And I've got 4 nieces and nephews, and it is such a beautiful thing. And I'm enjoying having a big brother that actually exists in my life.
Yeah, that must be fantastic. But it sounds as if, you can't claim to be the first academic in your home space. Your dad was with National University of Lesotho. He was a lecturer there. Is that where the genes come from?
I think so. And actually, so my dad comes from a very intellectual and academically inclined family. So his father was a minister in the government of Lesotho back in the day.
Yes.
His mom was a princess. There's like Morena, the main king of Lesotho, and then there are his extended families in the various districts. So she came from royalty in that manner. So they were very much onto books. So Boragadi and Borangwane, they went overseas to go study and all of that. And on my mother's side, her father was a teacher. So he was a pastor and a teacher.
Yeah.
So he was a high school teacher, and then he was the one sharpening the minds of so many children. So I don't think I could have escaped this whole academic thing, even if I wanted to.
Do you remember some of the dishes that you'd have that mom would cook at home when the young Tabiseng came from school in the evening? And I'm always fascinated by this Tabiseng because many of the African families didn't sit around a proper dinner table and eat. Some did, of course. We can't generalize to any. Some did, but many of us, even sitting down, would be sitting down for dinner. Well, what did you have? And did you have a dinner table where all of you sat around the table and you knew that this one sits here and you talk about what happened during the day? Or was it just, did you kitse?
So no, we didn't have a dinner table. And us as black folk, when you were eating as a kid, you'd be sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
And then the adults would be sitting on the chairs
Yeah.
or the sofas or whatever, covered in the plastic, to protect them and all
Yes.
of that.
Yes.
So my mom made a lot of good food, a lot of it, like the mince and rice and the stew. But my favorite one is one that is very silly, I suppose, but I love it. Papa Kalebesi. Like, I enjoyed when she made Papa Kalebesi. Like, I would be so happy. It was my favorite
Pap and
meal.
milk.
Not all these. Yeah, pap and milk. That's all I wanted. And I
Yeah.
would eat that Monday to Monday if she let me, but she wouldn't let me. So,
Yeah, but how is Papa Kalibis? When you're having Papa Kalibis, you'd have to let the pap cool down a bit because in that way, it will be a strong unit if it's still hot. So you need to break it into smaller little chunks so that you eat it nicely. So you'd have to have some patience to let it cool down a little bit.
So what she would do is that she would put when it's very hot, she would put it in the enamel
dish
that she would dish out for me, and then she would pour the milk, and then she would use the fork to kind of break it up within the milk.
Yes.
So it kind of cools off quickly that way. So when you eat it, it's like a warm. It was delicious.
Oh, really?
And I'm home now. I'm actually gonna make her make me Papa Kalebesi. So yes.
Say hi to her for us, please. Say hi to her for us. Yeah, but now, what do you prefer having other than Papa Kalebesi in your own home? What do you enjoy making?
So when I was dating my husband, a good 15 years ago, Antama, he made me a birthday meal, which is pasta with cream and cheese and chicken. And I was like, oh my gosh, this Zulu man can cook. What do you mean? So that has become my favorite meal, and he only makes it twice a year. Somebody speak to him only on my birthday or on Mother's this day does he make it, and it's my favorite meal ever.
I'm sending him a WhatsApp text as we speak right now. You'll go home and you'll find that he's sorted you out. But you are a Vetsi, aren't you? Vets for good.
Yes. Yeah, it brought me to the edge, almost pushed me over, but I made it. So yes, I'm a Vets alumni.
Yeah. Do you believe that somehow in that environment, that's what shaped who you are? Perhaps your work ethic, how you view things. What role did it play for you? It was not just an academic institution, I suppose. The ethos of that environment, what did it do for you?
Oh my goodness. Nobody really prepares you for what varsity really is. You have an idea because you watch movies and shows or whatever. But when you get there and you realize that everything really solely relies on you for you to pass, that is what I feel I got from the school, that if I don't stand up and do what I need to do for myself, then I am doing myself a huge injustice. That's how I feel Wits really molded me and shaped me, and the people I have around me or had around me who are still there. Actually, some are very prominent. They're magistrates, they're judges, they're senior counsel now, and I look to them for guidance most of the time to say, guys, I feel like here I'm not doing the right thing. Let's discuss. And then they still help me out, and that's what Wits did for me. It gave me such a strong work ethic that I still carry till today.
Were you from Lesotho when you studied at Wits?
Yes, so I was born and raised in Lesotho. So my mom is Xhosa. She was born in the Eastern Cape, and then her dad, as a pastor, was then deployed to Lesotho. And then that's where he met they met in the Eastern Cape, him and my grandmom. So they were deployed here, and then as South Africans, and then that's when she met my dad, and then I was born here. And then when I got to grade 10, which is Form C, this side, she then took me to Free State.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
Form C.
Yeah.
Form C.
Exactly. So she then took me to the Free State in Unicom High School, and then I did my grade 10 all the way to matric, and then that's when I ended up at Wits thereafter.
I'm asking that because I'm thinking, if you're from Lesotho, why would you know such a cool song? Why would you choose such an amazingly cool song for smart people? I mean, then I'm thinking it's only Wits that must have introduced her to such great music choice. Is that the case? This song, don't share yet. When did you fall in love with it as yet?
Grade 10, actually.
Yeah.
At Unicom High School, I was at boarding school.
Yeah.
So when we had exit weekends to go home and whatever, the taxis that would come and pick up the scholars that were at boarding school, they would come with the latest music. So that was the year that this album dropped. It's the first track on that very particular album.
What a brilliant song!
I heard. I heard it, and I think the that voice in that song, it's consistent throughout the song. Like, it spoke to my soul to this day.
Yeah.
My kids, if you were to speak to them, they're like, what would your mom like when she dies? They will tell you, you played this song at her funeral. You will be happy. She will be happy wherever she will be.
We hope not anytime soon. Nick Holder, Summer Days. I think it was on Fresh House Flavor 4, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, goodness me.
Correct.
Oh, man, it's been fantastic chatting to you. I hope then we'll have some more wonderful moments like this here on 702 with you. Thanks for making time, Nthabiseng. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
and all
so
the best
much.
with your career.
Thank you so much for this. It was absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Nthabiseng Dubazana, Director of Dubazana Attorneys. Stephen Khotes presents the Money Show between 6 and 8. Tonight, Stephen, $100 here.
Yeah.
Name the song and the album. The $100 is yours. It's right in my hand. Karabo will be the referee. The name of the song and the album from which it emerges. I will give you $100 right now. Right
I'm
here.
afraid you're gonna
It is
keep,
right here.
You're going to keep your $100.
Or you'll have to give me $100.
No. The Money Show is not known for its famous for its giving.
That's why it's the Money Show, right? Lovely spending time with you. Stephen Khotes is up next. Let's have a great weekend. Appreciate it every second of it. Let's do it again on Monday.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Khotes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Khotes is brought to you by ABSA Corporate and Investment Banking, turning intent into execution. That's how ABSA are invested in Africa's energy future. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, the SAA board puts another CEO on special leave. It now says Matsela Sishiba faces an internal process. We'll hear from the chair of the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, Unathi Kamlana, about the role and the responsibility of artificial intelligence in financial services. And how much would you pay for a bottle of water? We'll speak to someone tonight who will happily spend 5,000 Rand on one bottle of